Hi, it's Bean. I've been kind of like stuck on what I'm supposed to be making a video about. Like recently, I haven't really had any too strong topics, I feel like, but one that's been stuck in my head over and over again, and that is like almost like this sense of like I'm too cool to be spiritual. Because so when you associate people with spirituality, you think of like happy go lucky, like hippie loving people that eat grass. And I mean, I'm vegan, so, but you get what I'm saying. And so I've been really like stewing on it and wondering why I have not been excelling and kind of been feeling like in stagnant waters rather than going forward in my journey. I feel like I'm kind of like stuck at this point in quicksand and I see it. So I need to assess my situation and fix it. But I have this feeling in my head, and maybe it's like rebellion because I've always been like that. But I have like this sense of like, oh, I'm too cool for that. Like, oh, I'm mean bean. Mean bean don't need none of that shit. Yeah, so I feel like that's kind of stopping my progression. And so I really want to say that that is my ego. My ego is telling me that no, it's cooler to smoke cigarettes and it's cooler to, go hang out with the friends and smoke weed and who cares about yoga and all that stuff because metal shows are way cooler and why don't you go drink? So these are all like the things that I've been like battling with in my head, and it's really kind of stressful to be arguing with yourself and knowing what's right for you. So you're like, no, I really think that, like I should sit down and meditate for 10 minutes instead of cry about it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with crying, but when you have the thought, hey, you should meditate on this for, 10 minutes, but instead you want to sit there and cry, then you're probably choosing the wrong thing if you have the option in your head to meditate. Because I know we all have those days where we just like can't help hold it in anymore and we just have to cry. And then again, my bad side's like, you too cool to cry. Bitch, what you doing? So I feel like when it comes to like anything, like even eating healthy, you're fighting with yourself. You're like, oh, I really want this cheesecake. And then, but you're like, no, girl, you don't want that cheesecake. You want this avocado and you'll be just as satisfied. But it's like you argue with yourself or your ego about all these things that you know that are better for you, but you always choose the wrong thing. So where do I stop that? That's where mindfulness comes in. And so I feel like, so I've been trying to really quit drinking coffee lately because I'm realizing that it totally does like kind of shake things up on a necessary point that doesn't need to be shaken up. Caffeine kind of gives me like this stimulant that that really just drags me down. I feel like coffee has me in the hand and it's dragging me on the ground and it's like, come on, bitch, get the fuck up. And it's kicking me while I'm down and that's not a good relationship. So I'm trying really hard. I took some B12 yesterday and I took it today along with some fish oil and magnesium. And I feel a lot better. I think I'm lacking a lot of the nutrients in my diet because I don't take protein powders. I don't take any supplements. I don't have any sugar in my diet. I try to stay away from bread. So I think I'm kind of just like starving myself, really. Like, how do you be healthy? Eat nothing. That's not how it goes either. So yeah, it's like being mindfulness, I think, really is what comes into play when you have to take a deep breath in and look at what you're doing from a third person perspective. So that's like, you know, when you become an adult, you stop throwing tantrums in the store when you can't get anything, because you start putting yourself in that third person perspective, and you're like, whoa, I'm embarrassing myself. It's time to stop. So you kind of need to put yourself in that third person perspective and think, hey, will this person, or like if I'm looking at myself as a stranger, would I be okay with the way that I'm dealing with things right now? Or will your future self be okay with the way that you're handling things right now? Because a lot of us act in the moment almost too much. I know, so like past and future do not matter. It's right now. But right now, are you doing what your future self will thank you for? So, like today, like my lips are all dry because I haven't been drinking a lot of water. So obviously, because I didn't drink water in the past, my future self is not too happy with my past self decisions, and now I'm drinking extra water to try and feel better because I feel like a prune. So I feel like a lot of us kind of like rebel so much that we then regret it in the future. So it's time to take a step back, breathe, think, will I be like, you know, like, will I be happy drinking this fifth of whiskey tomorrow? Will I be happy with this tattoo that I get on me from a year from now? Will I be happy working at McDonald's a year from now? The time is now to step back and look, not tomorrow. So, message to myself and everybody else. You have to start somewhere, and that's now. Not in a minute, not tomorrow. Right now. So, thank you for listening. Bye.